All right, we're rolling.
We are
A squeaky
rolling.
chair.
So, what's up, Sean?
What's going on?
We are back, and I am Mike. This
I'm
is
Sean. This is episode 4 of Patent Pending, a podcast by creatives.
4 creatives.
Episode 4 today. I said that. What's with this? We got a little new setup today. If you're watching it.
Yeah, we expanded outside of Sean's office into his beautiful living room / dining room, so we can accommodate a third person. And that third person today is who?
Our guest today is Sammy Dean Photo. Sammy is a Las Vegas photographer here in town. Some call him the godfather of lowlight. He does a lot of nightclub and music photography, so I'm excited to sit down with him and get him on, pick his brain.
Yeah, Sam's a close friend of mine and Sean's, and he's a really great guy. He's just a ball of energy, and he has nothing but a great outlook on life, and I couldn't think of a better person to be our first guest for this episode.
Yeah, it's a good first guest.
Yeah, he's I got nothing but nice things to say about him. So, without
Further ado,
here's Mr. Sam.
and then we do a cool transition, and then he's in there.
Cool. So, yep. Sam, what's up, dude?
What's up, guys?
Sam has made it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for being on. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So, how's everyone's 2 crazy weeks? We had Memorial Day weekend, and then before that we had EDC. So, I'm sure we were all... I know I was, but what about you guys?
Yeah, for our industry, is even though the carnival's happening, we're all still working as much as possible with this stuff that's already for in town activities and stuff like that. So yeah, I basically was just doing nightclub, day club every day from Thursday to Monday. So it's kind of just a lot of more of the same that I normally do. Mm-hmm. But it was it was very fulfilling. It was a very fun week. The weather was amazing.
Yeah.
Nothing overly hot, nothing overly crazy.
Was it windy that weekend?
It was very windy. Memorial Day weekend in particular was very windy, and I was doing drone. We'll probably get into that later, but yeah, I was doing drone things on Memorial Day weekend, and it was insanely windy, but everything worked out. Fortunately, no incidents, and the software, the stabilization software is just so ridiculous. I mean, if you were to see the raw clips, just shaky madness, and then you put it through this thing, and it's just
really?
butter. Oh my god, it's
damn.
almost like witchcraft. It's called Real Steady, and it is so powerful. It's insane, and so yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. What about
Where
you
were
guys?
you doing the drone at?
I was at Tao Beach, so I did Tao Beach for Saturday and Sunday, Memorial Day weekend. So it was Alesso the first day, and then it was Lil Jon, Bia, and Tyga performed.
Oh, dang.
On Sunday.
Nice.
But Sunday was even worse wind than it was on Saturday. So I didn't feel as comfortable flying maybe into the booth.
Right.
You've shot Tao Beach, yeah?
I shot old Tao. I haven't shot new Tao.
Okay.
Same. I haven't made it over there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fully redesigned.
Yeah, the layout's
booth is
different, right?
Completely
Yeah, okay,
different.
yeah.
I mean, I basically don't even recognize it at all from the old Tao Beach. It looks completely different, and their booth is quite a bit of space. So there's room to fly in there, but again with the wind and everything, I mean, imagine
Yeah, plus
going
all the
down,
people.
hitting John, somebody in the face. It's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
no thanks. So
What about you, man? How was your EDC and Memorial Day week?
EDC was cool. I didn't have anything related to EDC, which was kind of bittersweet because obviously how crazy it gets. I was cool. So I had other things. I think I had an elopement and some other event, like an art gallery. So it was cool. But I did get a call on Sunday at 3:00 to shoot for EDC by 6 p.m.
Every year, I feel like.
Yeah, so I was just
that.
what? I don't even know how they got my number. They were just oh, I found you through so-and-so who does photo and video. Could you be at EDC at 6 p.m.? And I'm yeah, it's 3:00.
For $1 million,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
No, their I don't know if they're not gonna listen. I don't even know how that works. But anyway, their pay wasn't shit. So I was like, I'm not doing this last minute.
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. But part of me wanted to. For like for a few minutes, I was like, should I?
Yeah.
And then my wife was like, don't be dumb. And I'm like, all right, fine. She's
So
like, you're too far behind on all your other stuff. You were just telling me. And I was like, oh yeah.
And we're supposed to get dinner. No.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that was good. The Memorial Day weekend, I wasn't here. I flew out to Texas.
Yeah, how was that, man?
That was cool. It was pretty much.
What were you doing there again?
So I shot for this band, The Ghost Inside. They flew me out. Well, I flew with them, but they were playing a festival in Texas, which was cool.
That's awesome. Man.
So yeah, I got to shoot them. A little quick trip. It was interesting because the festival was kind of like the Wild West. Like there was like 30 people in the photo pit. It was insane. I was like, I'm pretty sure there's not supposed to be this many people because there's like a bunch of little sardines, like everyone's trying to like get their shot. So I was like, oh.
That's how like Life is Beautiful is just.
Yeah, but when I shot
mess.
Day in Vegas, it was not. It was like,
okay,
you need to be credentialed. Like they were on top of it, and then they kicked you out after the 3 songs. This festival, they were there the whole time.
Nice.
They were there the whole time.
Oh, for the entire set?
Yeah, some of them.
There wasn't like a wrangler in there?
No, I mean, they didn't know. I don't think that they knew. I feel like because I even saw people backstage with like no wristbands or credentials. I saw people in the photo pit that like
clearly didn't belong.
I don't want to judge, but I'm like you clearly you got like a hobby camera, and I'm like,
yo, man, those khakis, you're not fitting in here, man.
Right.
you gotta go, bro. You can't be shooting flip flops.
You have no tattoos, you need to.
Yeah, no. But yeah, that was good. How was your guys' Memorial Day weekend?
It was good. I can't even remember, honestly.
It's 2 days ago.
Yeah, I know. It was just the same normal stuff. Just like a lot of clubs. Oh, okay. Memorial Day weekend, I shot 9 gigs in like 5 days. And it was a lot of music, club, and then I also got to shoot Sebastian Maniscalco at the Wing
Comedian,
Theater.
right?
Yeah, so that was fun. I did just a lot of club stuff. So nothing super notable, but always a great time.
Right.
I got to shoot on the roof at Wet, so that was awesome.
Why were you on the roof for that one?
Just sometimes they like to get us up there just to get to show the vastness of like the amount of people that are in there.
Packed house.
Exactly. Yeah. They want to flex on the other clubs to show how busy they were. So
But also the fireworks. I mean, that was a big part of it too, right?
For sure.
They wanted, they don't do pyro there that often, so when they do, like you, and I wrote this in the comment, but like those might have been some of the best Wet photos I've seen in a very long time.
Oh, thanks, man.
Very long time. Like,
thanks.
I've been shooting there pretty frequently now. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh shit, like all these amazing angles, dude. Like, you just have a way of like, shooting. We shoot a lot of the same venues. Mm-hmm. And you just have a way of like getting the angle that is just like, oh shit, it's just always slightly better. I could be in the same position and shooting from the same thing, but you're just always slightly better.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
It's really. I was telling you, like, that it reminded me of like when Instagram was great and like giving people inspiration because I felt inspired.
Yeah.
After looking at your.
Well, I saw one of your Omnia photos and you shot on the second floor up above the people with a monopod with the fisheye to get the chandelier, and I was like, oh, that's so sick. So it's like friendly competition, like to inspire each other.
It inspires you. It's not like fuck this. It's like damn, that's good, and I gotta be better now.
Exactly. So I think that's awesome, and that's why I'm kind of bummed about Instagram because now it's all going to Instagram Reels and like TikToks, and it's just kind of a bummer. There's not a real good place for like. I'm hoping that somebody comes up with a. Get them, guys.
Yeah, get the bad guys. Protect us all.
I hope that somebody comes up with a new social media app that's more specifically for photography, almost like a modern day Flickr.
Oh,
because it's just like, and like yes, like we're all gonna adapt and like make Instagram Reels to stay like relevant.
Organic.
But I do want to like look at my friends' photos and like, I just hope that doesn't go all the way to 100%. The real.
I think they are.
For sure.
Oh, really?
It's feeling that
I think
way.
they're like. I think it eventually.
Yeah.
It won't have like any photos anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I heard. I heard. I was watching some. My wife showed me some. What are they called? They're tech. what's
conference or
they're
something
like
that?
no, sorry, they're social media people, so they're like ahead of the curves, or here's what's coming up type of thing. And so she was explaining, she's like, the photo part of the platform is eventually gonna be like obsolete. Like they probably won't even have you posting.
Yeah.
Oh, and the format's changing too. That's what she was saying. She was saying like
It's all vertical now.
it'll all be. Well, no, they're changing because you know how stories are like 9:16. The feed is gonna go to that as well. So it won't be 4:5 on the feed. It'll be 9:16 as well.
Oh, so like
Even
like
more
TikTok.
realistic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Lame.
And I think even Joe was saying that too. Like, there's no more wide photos, right?
There
It's-
won't. I think there
No,
won't be.
that
Yeah.
was just.
Yeah,
I
it'll
think,
just
I
be
think you
the-
just have to click an extra button to do that. I think you can. I think you can post wide still.
You can do it now, yeah.
Yeah.
You can still do them now.
I think eventually, yeah, because if they're trying to just push video format, then
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. What a bummer.
But yeah, to bring Flickr back or something like that would be so great.
Yeah, because I think
Something like that.
something.
like Pinterest is cool for that, but it's not. I feel like Pinterest isn't used as much for the
It's more
like,
for people to see what they want, opposed to a photographer to like show.
But
off
you
their
can find some
ideas.
really good stuff. It's just not
Okay.
as used as how Instagram is where everyone's like throwing all of their good shit on Instagram. Yeah, Pinterest is more for like a client perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, we can adapt and something will come out. I'm sure something will happen. But so, Sam,
Yeah.
where are you from?
Let's see, I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. Lived there pretty much my whole life. And then, I was working for a restaurant, basically a cheesecake factory. It's like it's one of their concepts.
What's the name of it?
Grand Lux Cafe.
Okay.
Okay.
And so, because we had had like our family business, and that had run its course. I thought I wanted to be working like around computers, so I was like, I got a Geek Squad job. That's definitely not for me. So I started working at this restaurant because it's kind of all I knew at that time. So they ended up closing that location at the Beverly Center. So they offered to relocate me to Vegas because they needed more people here. So I was like, I'm not, I was paying, at the time it was like $1,100, and this is in 2014, 2013, $1,100, $1,200 for like a room somewhere in Hollywood. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? So, so my brother and I, we were both working there. We both decided, let's take this. Well, it was like $1,500.
I had no idea you guys came together.
Yeah, we came together initially. Initially, it was actually his idea, and he just convinced me, and it was just like, it's a no-brainer. Like, let's do it. So we came out here. We were working for the same company out here, and then I became bartender. And then I started working bartending gigs at the Cosmo, and that's how I met Woody.
That's how you got into
eventually
photography,
got
right?
me into the whole photography game. Because I mean, if you were to ask me, like in 2015 or whatever, like, or to tell me that I would be doing what I'm doing now here, I would have. There's no fucking way. There's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
I would never have imagined in ever that I would be doing photography as like my main income, or even not regardless of what I'm actually shooting. Like, I just never thought I'd be able to like do that professionally. It just was not even part of the
thought process.
Yeah, like anywhere.
So how did you get started? Did he tell you like you should grab a camera, or like did you
Basically,
tell him, hey,
yeah.
I bought a camera and I'm messing around? Like how'd that kind of unfold?
So I had gone to Japan in 2014, and I stayed there for 3 months, and the photos I took there were like my most prized possessions. You know that it's the thing that when I brought back, like it's the only thing I cared about was really like, I had spent so much time, and all I had was my Galaxy Note 2, I think, or something. It was some old phone, but I just like the whole like that was my main thing. There was just taking photos of stuff. I'm like, oh, these are coming out really nice, and so when I got back to the States, and I was talking to Woody, he was like, yo, your photos are great. I think you would be good at this. Mm-hmm. And then I saw his Instagram, and I was like, whoa, like, how do you, like, what are you doing? Like, he's showing these, I think it was like Travis Scott was at like Marquee or something crazy. It was a different time, obviously, at that time, but like.
And what was on his Instagram?
Yeah, it was like that. It was just him shooting
like
for
nightlife
Global.
photos?
It was all nightlife. It was nightlife stuff, and I'm like, how do you do this? He's like, you know, he's funny. He's like, I think you would be great at this. He's like, I've seen your photos that you took in Japan. This, you know, your personality. I think, I'm like, what does that have to do with? I don't really even know how to use a camera. I just know how to use a phone. And he's like, you know, the personality is like a lot to do with this type of job, because, you know, you have to be able to like walk up to people. You have to be able to engage with people randomly.
Yeah.
You know, get people to like. Which is something that I would do when I was bartending. I would, you know, I don't know. I was kind of a fun.
That makes sense too. You got to be a people person to be a bartender, right?
Well, if I do say, Sam, you are a pretty fun guy, so it makes total sense.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, that's kind of how like the door was even like shown to me. I didn't even know there was a door there to like walk through. But then he kind of like brought it up. Hey, I think you might be good at this. And I was like, if I could get photos like this, like I'm down. Whatever, like. Tell me what I need to do.
Right.
So he's like, this is the steps. He's like, you need to get a full frame camera. You know, he was giving me like the whole rundown. So I ended up buying all this shit, like just.
Can I ask what your first camera was, like outside of your?
It was a 5D Mark III.
Okay.
Because I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I'd rather get something that's like halfway decent and not something that's, you know, like a Rebel or whatever. I'm just gonna get something like, you know, decent.
And that was the 4 out yet? Then?
No.
Okay, so it's still
So this was
top
still
of the line.
the top of the line at that time, you know. So I paid $2K. I bought a used one. It had very little shutter on it. It was basically brand new. And then I literally just sat in my apartment because like there was no opportunity. There was no option for me to like start doing that job. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't have that like. I'm going to learn how to use this. I'm going to learn every feature. And I'll just wait till the opportunity comes. Which was like kind of, you know, that's kind of a silly mindset. But
yeah, definitely don't recommend that way to do it. But hey, we're human.
It was weird. It was just like, I don't know why I had that mentality. So I had the camera for like over a year. And like nothing was happening. And I was like, you know, whatever. And then he finally said, okay, someone's quitting. This is it. Like, I want you to start coming with me to the clubs. And I will show you like what I do. And so, this is so exciting. So yeah, so you know, and this is like one of the first times I've used a camera really, and I literally have no idea what I'm doing. And so he's kind of like trying to guide me. And basically, over the course of like 6 months, he showed me a lot, but I basically just trained myself how to shoot people, mostly at One Oak. Mm-hmm. We have experience at One Oak. Have you ever shot?
No, I missed One Oak. Nope.
You know, that was, in my opinion, still to this day, I always tell people it was like the perfect training ground for like a nightlife photographer, because the lighting there was atrocious, very small room, but people were wilding out there. Like, it was just so,
right.
Nobody really cared. It was just so, I don't know, it's hard to explain, like, feeling there, like, no, you know, people could be fucking, like, I mean, you know, people could be just do all kinds of shit, and like, people get away with a lot of it, you know, very relaxed. Very chill environment. Sometimes they'd have big artists, but a lot of the time it was just locals. So it was a great place to like, you know, get good.
Right.
You know, so yeah, that's kind of how it started. I started to do basically all of his work, and then I met this guy, and then yeah, my life completely changed after that. Basically,
how did you guys meet? How did you meet Mike?
I met him physically. For the first time I met him was at Jewel. I'll never forget. I think it was Nervo. I'm almost positive it was Nervo. Again, I was following around with Woody. Right. Basically just shooting all of his galleries for him, because at that point, like, I could tell he was, you know, kind of getting out of that type of shooting. I think he wanted to do other types of photography. But like, I just was like, no, fuck, this is all I want to do. This is what I want to do. Like, I will take all of your stuff. I'll do everything. Right. Let me just do everything. But that was the first time I met Mike. But I had known of his work because, you know, working through global media with Tony Tran, who gave, I think, all of us,
three of us,
really all of us our start.
Shout out to Tony
Tran. Because without him, you know, a lot of us wouldn't have our careers.
For sure. No, he definitely elevated. Definitely elevated our games in the nightlife and event space for sure.
Yeah, he just gave us the opportunity. Yeah, and then we made it. Because there's been people where like you can be given an opportunity and they just fuck it off, but like you know, it's all what we made out of it. But absolutely. Without him, we would not be where we're at.
You can't just walk into a club like, hey, I want to shoot for you, Hakkasan. And they're like, yeah, cool, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. So Sam, could I ask?
Cool, nice camera guy.
When you first started shooting, I remember you were working for Spy on Vegas, and I was working in-house for Jewel when I was working for Tony. Mm-hmm. That's when we first met. Were you doing Spy on Vegas and still bartending? or when did you make the jump to being a full-time freelancer outside of the bartending scene?
I don't recall if I'm almost positive. Well, that's a good question because I need to figure out like when I stopped working at the Lux, because I was still bartending. I was bartending at the Grand Lux Cafe and at the Cosmo, and I was doing Spy in Vegas at night. But then doing all three became, I couldn't do it anymore. So I had to lose one easily. Lux was gone.
Lux was first.
Get out of here. Yeah, that was such an easy decision. The best decision was probably dropping that one.
And you were at the Boulevard Pool bartending, right?
Boulevard Pool. I was at both the regular Cosmo pools, not the day club.
Yeah.
Just the
like
regular,
the house pool.
The house pools.
So still like a
basically.
decent bartending gig.
I mean,
right?
I was
outside.
making stupid money. Like for me, it was stupid money. I was very happy doing that. But again, it was that or like shooting like DJs and stuff at night. I'll do that all day. And even though the pay cut was like, it was dramatic. If I would have stopped the Cosmo altogether, it would have been. I would not have been able to survive. But
Right, that gap was just too much.
it was just too much, So I was doing the Cosmopolitan, doing the pools there. Then at night I would do whatever nightclubs I could. And yeah, you're right. Okay, in the beginning, Tony was trying to get me into like doing in-house. But again, at that time, I was trying to explain. Like I basically didn't even know how to use my camera. So, so like the one time he gave me to like shoot an actual artist, it was Jeremiah at Dre's. I'll never forget.
Ooh.
It was who at Dre's?
It was Jeremiah. He was big at one point.
Oh.
He was big at one point. He was like a rapper, singer rapper guy.
Yeah, he's like R&B.
Yeah, R&B. Yeah.
I think it's Jeremiah.
Is it Jeremiah? Because I thought there was no A in the end of it. Jeremiah, M-I-H, I thought.
Jeremiah. No, I think you're right. Yeah.
I think it's Jeremiah.
Now that I'm on the
M-I-H.
spot, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But whatever.
He had a few hits, but basically, like Dre's was complaining because I didn't provide enough artist photos. I didn't provide. Basically, I didn't shoot enough.
Right.
Which is they're 100% correct. And again, I didn't know what I was doing.
I said, funny enough, now you overshoot.
I
almost,
over,
right?
yeah,
You
way too
provide
much.
a massive gallery.
Yeah, too much. But yeah, so yeah.
No, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's not, yeah,
You make
no.
the client feel like they're getting their money worth. That's
Yeah,
I
a
think
shit
that's
ton
not
of
a bad
photos.
thing
Here,
at all.
you figure it out. You get to go
You
through all these.
you may not necessarily like it because you might beat yourself up at the end of the night when you have to edit. But
Yeah, Cole,
as far as the
600
client,
photos.
the client's
Right.
like, this is sick.
Yeah.
I'm getting so much,
Yeah,
So,
yeah. At the end of the day, yeah. So, but
so that was your
Yeah.
first big gig.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a sink or swim moment. He
and
just threw you out there.
I sunk very heavily.
Okay.
I was all the way at the bottom, and so that's when Tony put me on to Spy on Vegas team because he was running both teams. He was running his own global media company, and then he was also running the Spy on Vegas team. And if people don't know, Spy on Vegas was like a local website. It used to be a newspaper, right? It used to be a magazine, right?
So if I remember correctly, it was
it's
part
true.
of Window Media Group, which
Right.
was the Las Vegas. Was it Las Vegas Weekly or was it Las Vegas 7?
Las Vegas Week.
It was
7.
oh,
I
it's
think
7.
I think
Because
you're right.
7,
It was 7, yeah.
7 dissolved.
Yeah.
And then so did Spion.
Yep.
Because that's
Right.
where they got the money for it, was the ad revenue, I think. That's how they paid for
That
it.
makes sense, yeah.
And then what did Spion do?
So Spy on Vegas was you would basically log on to Spy on Vegas. Most people would be because they would receive a card after getting their photo taken at any one of the the numerous venues across
Right.
Las Vegas. You were always it was kind of an infamous thing. You'd get this card.
You'd get the card,
You'd log onto the website. You'd find the date you were there. You'd find your photo. And you would have the watermarks where you'd share it. That was kind of their thing, and it was a great idea because a lot of the venues the complaint is like they get their photo taken and they don't know where to find the photo or they don't know where it goes or any random thing and
Yeah.
it was I still think it was a great concept. It was a great idea, and for a photographer who wanted to be in the industry and didn't know how to shoot DJs or whatever, you could not come up with a more perfect training ground because you got to go to almost every venue. I mean, I saw every venue before I even knew how to do anything because of the access to Spy in Vegas. And then all I had to do was take photos of people, which was for me the easiest part was like just getting people to. All you want to do is get girls together and take photos. Like, fuck, it's so freaking easy, you know.
And then, if I remember correctly, you used to hit multiple venues a night, right?
Right.
For spot.
It was like $50 a venue. That's what he was paying. You know, that's what they were paying. So, you know, I would try to hit as many as I could. It's like, you know, and again, because it's the people, you're not necessarily, you know, regulated by. Their sets are only from 1 to 3. You can go whatever you want. So you can go at open.
Gotcha.
Get, you know, spend 45 minutes. Get all the girls, like just get them together. Get whatever cool people, cool outfits. People that are having a good time.
Right.
You want to make them. You make the venues look like everybody's having the best time.
Everyone's there. Yeah.
You know, so that was their whole concept. That was their business model, and you know, and for a photographer like who didn't necessarily know what to do, it was the perfect training. And it would weed out a lot of people too, because I feel like if you spent 3 months doing that and you can handle it and you can do really well, you can pretty much do it, you know, anywhere.
Yeah, there's definitely some good fundamentals as far as photography. If you have to be quick, you have to learn how to juggle people. You have to juggle low light. There's quite a few.
Yeah,
and then you have to be a people person as well to get in there. Hey, let me grab your photo. Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say, do you feel that some things you learned as a bartender translated into helping you be a photographer?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, just the, you know, I mean, obviously you're not really having conversations in the club. It's fucking, you know, it's super loud. It's you know, whatever. But
yeah, it's sign language.
Yeah, exactly, the sign language. But I think it's like energy. You know, if you're going up to a group and they're like low energy, but you come at them with a little bit more energy than they have, you just take over their. And honestly, I feel like sometimes you can really enhance someone's experience by doing that. Just by, you know, making them feel like maybe important or making them feel like, you know, like you're important to this night. Like, let me capture you guys' moment, you know. And whether or not they even gave a shit to go see and to go get the photo later, I think in that moment, like you're enhancing their experience. I think even the people around them. I genuinely feel like it's a benefit to the night and to the experience to have just somebody walking around doing that. You know, again, even if their photos won't ever see the light of day, you know, if it's a bunch of guys, they feel great. If you know, they feel like, you know, like ballers or whatever if they get their photo taken.
Well,
or whatever,
and you know, for some people, Vegas is, you know, that thing like they saved up for. This is their big thing for the year. For us, we're jaded. Like, we live here. It's whatever.
Every week, you know.
Yeah, but then for these people, you know, like, oh, we're going to Vegas next year. Like, we're saving up. So yeah, I've never looked at it from that perspective. But that's cool that you noticed that, and that's probably because of the bartending, right? Maybe.
Yeah, 100%. Just like coming at a group with energy. Energy is so. I mean, it's such a, you know, the feng shui and all that, but it's so like real. Like, if you come up to a group and you have more energy than they do, you'll typically you can dictate. And, you know, some of it's, you know, where it's just like, just getting people to do things, or like, you know, getting people to pose in certain, and, you know, take this bottle, like hold it like this, do this. So, you know, I mean, people are, I don't know, it's almost like a hypnosis. Like, it's, you can kind of, and it became fun for me. Like that whole kind of,
giving direction.
Yeah, like just like, let me see like what weird stuff I can get away with, you know, like, or like, you know, like, you know,
what could you get away with, Sam?
Show me them feet.
I've had all kinds of, you know, weird, you know, nowadays I'm way more calm, way more chill. But
what are some of your like short-term and long-term goals in photography? Because you want to obviously never have to go back to bartending.
Ideally, no. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no. That would not be the move. But yeah, in terms of goals, I mean, like right now, I'm trying to maybe have more than one stream. So like, I've been doing more of the FPV drone stuff. Obviously, that's not photography, but
no, that's definitely
that still counts into the realm.
Yeah, it's just a different way of moving the camera, you know. But and you know, fortunately, lately it's been kind of taking off a little bit. I'm not trying to like jinx or anything, but like I think
there's like you, Harrison. How many other people in Vegas do FPV?
I think
Jordan does it.
Yeah, Jordan does.
But I feel like there's still not a lot.
But the market's not oversaturated yet.
No, you're on the cusp of like the head of the curve, because it's not like. You could throw a stone and probably hit 10 photographers in town, but you can't say that about drones. So I think you're ahead of it.
Yeah, not just yet, you know, at least, but yeah, it was fortunate. I knew once the lockdown happened and all that, I saw it coming, and I was like, this. it's also like the most baddest. It's just so fun too. It's just like such a cool perspective, and if you could do it well, it's you don't even have to be a good pilot. You just have to know where to put the camera. Really, that's how I see it. You know, it's not even, you know, you're Mr. Trick guy or doing whatever. You're some insane pilot. It's more only about like where can you put the camera. Like that's
where can you get that
matters, really. You know, like so.
Yeah, because it kind of looks cool. Just
super. Yeah.
And you shoot ultra wide, so it's like it looks rad. So like you could fuck up a move, but like on the camera, it still might look sick. You know? So.
Yeah, because it's a different perspective, right? Like for example, if you're shooting that pool club and you're flying over the crowd, and then you come up to the DJ. None of us have seen that perspective of like, oh fuck, you're over people, and then boom, you're right in, you know, Alesso's face. Like holy shit.
For EDC weekend, you flew through the pyro at Wet, right? For Martin Garrix.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and then, you know, that was a weird one because like I only had the one shot. And then they didn't even like have a set time because it was like after his intro. So like he goes on, he does his little, you know, he does his "What up, Las Vegas," you know, all this stuff, and then the intro happens. So I'm like, I don't even know the song. Like I'm not sure like when the drop is. So and I'm trying to like come up with this cool like shot of like diving the signature building, and then as I come into the pool, as the fireworks go off, and just have this whole like epic sequence, you know.
And then to the people who don't know, how long does an FPV drone battery last? How long can you fly for?
Yeah, like with the sub 250 setup, it's like maybe 2 minutes. You know, 3
so
minutes.
you have 2 minutes to fly, and you have to time it out with an unknown.
Yeah, and I have to get to my start point. So I get to the start point, then I'm hovering, just waiting for the announcement, waiting for him to say like, because again, I can't see. My eyes are in the goggles, so I can't see. I'm literally looking at the signature building. Like I'm just listening. Where's the song? Okay, well, I don't hear him yet. My battery's already draining. I can't wait. So I just had to like, and then by the time I did like one full lap, waiting, and then finally I like, this is it. I know it. And then it worked out, you know. But again, it was just the one shot. You missed that, you're done.
Did it work out though?
It did work out. Fortunately, yeah.
There you go.
So yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, the shot came out sick. I think you did a wonderful job.
Thank you, man.
And I think, you know, because you were telling me and Joe how you're like, oh, it didn't come out that good. And then we saw it. It's like, no, this is amazing. And I feel like that's something that we all struggle with is like, you know, is like the self-doubt.
It's so much better though. You know, like
yes.
I could name like 10. I could just come with 10 ways it could have been better. You know, and then I just. But at the end of the day, I can't go back. I can't redo it. It is what it is.
But with all the moving parts, I think you did a great job.
Yeah,
because
for literally everything that
hands.
you just explained. Yeah, the 2-minute battery, the drop. You can't see.
Yeah.
You're watching through the camera, and then not to mention, you're not even sure visually where that or sound wise where that cue is coming from. You're like,
Exactly.
I heard the intro, but I don't know what. So you can only do so much.
So that would be like a goal. Like I'm trying to like not just have, because the nightlife stuff I still love it. I still can't believe.
I was just telling Sean, I was like, I don't know anybody who enjoys it more than Sam.
Yeah, I just everything about
He's all about it.
Yeah, I love it like so much still. You know, I was thinking like, oh, maybe after a few years I'm gonna start to hate it or whatever, but no,
not yet.
It's still awesome. You know, like I still really,
So then, okay, so you love it, and I think, me personally, I think you love it so much because how old were you when you quit your day job?
I was 38 now. I guess I was like 35.
So
yeah.
a full-blown adult with
with
responsibilities.
Oh, yeah.
So you've lived a life where you have to work for the man.
Oh, yeah.
So now you don't have to work for the man anymore, and I think you're so much more grateful because you've seen both sides of the coin, and you know, and you're like, oh, I could be standing on my feet for 10 hours bartending, or I could be doing this. This is way more awesome, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I love too, that you're just so grateful and you have so much gratitude, you know?
I mean, yeah, it just, like to see, even when the venues post them, like when they post some of the photos, it's such a rewarding, I don't know, it's very rewarding.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and then it's, you know, where you're like, you're making drinks for people and they can really enjoy, they're having a great time. There's something about making a piece of like, I guess what we do art. It's just so, when you make a piece of art at the end of the day, like when we finish our galleries, we just made like fucking art in this, you know, every night. And it's just like these multi-million-dollar like lighting installations, the video screens, the people behind it, every single guest that's there like raging and their hand is in the frame, like it's like a harmony. I don't know. It's just beautiful. I still love it. I'm grateful. Like it's such a
Well, then you have that gratifying feeling of not only are you happy with it, but then like you said, you have that client that goes, "This is our nightclub, and you got this shot that Aoki's on the DJ booth, and everyone's going nuts, and you now captured everything that we were trying to achieve. Of like, this is the spot to be. If you're not here, what are you doing? Are you sitting at home, or you're at the wrong club?"
For sure. Yeah, that's why like I enjoy hanging out with you, because it's. Sometimes I'll get a little, I don't know, I'll get a little certain way. Or like I get like a little, maybe I'll take my work for granted, and then I talk to you, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, I'm being silly, Mm-hmm. So it's nice to see the other side of it.
Yeah, and I like to be that for you sometimes, because I can tell sometimes be a little jaded, a little, maybe burn out or whatever. Because I can imagine for you it's difficult when you do like an editorial or like a fashion something that's more higher end, and then you go back to the club dealing with drunk people, getting drinks spilled on your can. You're like, what am I doing here? So I could see like where you would feel that way for sure.
Yeah.
This is still like my life right now. It's like most of what I do like is just still the same 4 venues. But. Yeah, it's so.
What's your long-term goal? So if short-term is a little more FPV.
Yeah, so that because I don't know how long I can necessarily do that, the nightclub thing. Just the ears and stuff, and eyes, just the intensity of it all. So it would be nice to find other things to photograph, or whatever, or like whatever. So. More like events, like regular events.
Gotcha.
Like corporate stuff.
I feel like they not only do they pay well, but they're less.
They're during the day.
Yeah, they're normal hours.
They're less detrimental to your physical health.
Yeah. A little
a little more slow paced
in the clubs.
And those are not really like time based in a sense, right? Like you can be there for 4 hours and you're good. Catch this speaker.
Well, the cool thing about the corporate stuff and the convention work is like you can just usually do a day rate.
Yeah.
And then you can walk away with like.
But they're usually pretty more relaxed in that. Like I said, if you're shooting the nightclub and you have the drop or the DJ's not coming on until 1:30, you're like, oh, dude, I got like this amount of time.
I get what you're saying. You feel more rushed. I mean, I don't know. I've worked with some clients in the corporate, and like the corporate people are pretty spazzy. So it's the same thing. It's like. It's like you don't feel rushed, but they like feel like they need to rush you. I don't know. They're just like, no, like this is the big convention of the year, and everyone's here. The CEO's here. And you're like, okay, chill. Like I'm gonna be okay.
Right.
Yeah. But I do love those clients. It's, and like with me, I like to switch it up. So I like doing that stuff, and I like doing nightlife, and then I'll do like other stuff, and then. Yeah. Cool. But do you get burned out? Have you felt burned out yet?
Oh, very, very, very often. But I think before COVID, it would happen where I'd get burnt out, and I'd feel like I'd lose that gratitude a little bit, and then maybe like start like kind of like trying to find people like give my shifts away to, just
get a little complacent.
Yeah, and what I would just do is just take time off. I would just take an extra day or take maybe a few days off. And then that would usually kind of reset. Being inspired too, like seeing someone else's like really good work inspires me, and it gets me out of that a lot of times too.
Okay,
like,
cool.
I want to do something cool. I want to make something awesome. Where I see an idea, and then that's gonna be my next goal for the next shoot. Instead of just like always doing the same stuff, try to have like, okay, this guy made this kind of weird kind of shot, like the way you were with that like slow shutter, the people like the dragging the shutter guy during the daytime or whatever that was,
Yeah.
Just a different technique.
Don't give away my secrets.
Different.
God damn it, Sam. So what do you do in that time when you are taking that day or two off to kind of reset? Are you doing anything particular? Like, I know Mike, he'll ride his bike. Like, what's Sam doing when he's not?
I'm usually like medicating, unfortunately.
Okay.
Like I'm usually either getting obliterated stone, mushroom, just something like to get my head space out. Is what I'm typically gonna do, but. I'm like replaying Red Dead Redemption 2 again.
Okay.
Dude, I don't know. I just
wonderful.
Stuff like that. Yeah. So I just kind of get my head out. We have a racing simulator at the house. It's great to get your mind away. I don't know. It's just stuff like that, basically. Just like other things to like occupy my time. But like racing has become so fun for me lately. Just simulator racing, not necessarily real life racing, but then also the drones again, just having that like secondary, not just having everything into nightlife or everything into FPV or everything into just doing video, just having like, so that we can like cleanse your mind of one and focus on something else. And you give that gift of missing the other thing, you know, that gift of like not being, I have to do that or I have to do this, you know, like just those options, I think.
It breaks up the monotony.
Definitely.
A little diverse.
Definitely.
Diverse.
What about you, man? Like,
when I'm not shooting, I don't know. I still don't. I don't know. I've been trying to tell Mike for the longest time I need to get a bike and just get out of the house, because like when I'm not shooting, I'm editing. So it's like all the time I feel like I'm spending indoors. Mm-hmm. So it's like when I'm not shooting, I'm still indoors in my house. It's like, dude, I just need to get some sun. So
yeah, you have a beautiful backyard. You can just lay out there, man.
Right?
There's someone,
redid the backyard, and then it's like, ask me how many times I go out there. Never.
What about you have any dream clients that you want to work with, or have you already maybe?
Oh yeah. Speaking, Who have you shot? Who's your dream that you'd be like, dude, I would love to photograph? And it doesn't have to be nightlife capacity. It could just be something.
Just in general, like you want to work with Coca-Cola or. Or it would have been cool to work with like John
Lennon.
I almost said like, John Legend. I was like, that's not right. I was like, don't say that.
You know,
a little different skin.
I don't necessarily have like a particular person. I maybe I should think about it more of in like as a specific person, like be as specific as possible. But I just want to work with. I would like to work with one artist who I know, and I know what they want, and they know like how I operate, and they trust me. That's it's not necessarily even a person. It's that type of person. I just want someone that I feel very comfortable around. That there's a comfort level between the two of us, and that I can just focus all of my energy in making that one person like all of their content. Like just someone that will hire me and that trusts me, basically. You know, to like, this is my in-house guy. This is my guy. You know, that was always been. And I remember a time where like all I wanted to do was like I want to tour with somebody. I want to tour with somebody, and then like I had a little bit of a semi taste of what it was like, and I'm like, I don't know about this.
That was a very bad taste. There's better options.
I'm sure there's better experiences.
There's definitely better options. We see it all the time. I mean,
worked multiple days for next to nothing.
Yeah, no, there's better options.
For that wasn't really even necessarily about the money as much as it was just for that experience of like traveling out to somewhere that I've never been, and then just shooting an entire festival. Well, you need to go
somewhere north, not south. You need to go somewhere cooler. Not as hot as it was where you were.
It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I feel like it's not out of reach in your realm. I mean, you're in music, you're in nightlife. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
It's just a matter of time.
It's just only a matter of time, especially in your case when you're seeing, I mean, other than Aoki, no one else brings in their own photo and video guy, right?
Right.
So.
Well, they used to do it a lot more, but I think fortunately they don't need to. It's kind of a waste of money.
Yeah.
If there's already an in-house person that you're going to get the content from the club or the person.
Right.
Alesso does, because Alesso has Eddie come with him, but he does photo and video.
Right, but I'm saying, like Sam said, if he like that gap is like it could be reachable, especially because like you're there so much that they know you guys by now. We're like, oh yeah, this is Sam, this is Mike. Like that's not out of reach.
There's a trust there. Yeah, there's a trust there. It's like I don't even have to explain anything. Like they just know.
Yeah,
you know that. It's not necessarily a person. It's really just like that I need to find the person and have that relationship with. And one of the things, something that I'm really lacking on, and I would love to actually get your guys' opinion on this, is like the networking side of things, like. Introducing yourself to management, like the artist managers. Right. Introduce yourself to the tour managers, like just getting to know like the actual artists themselves, because sometimes they get like I don't really want to interrupt them, or I don't want to say hi to them or whatever. I don't want to
you don't want to overstep your bounds.
Yeah, I always say what's up, and I always just seem super cool, and then I try to keep it short, because. We've all been in that situation where someone will talk to you and they'll just linger, They'll just linger, and you're like, dude, come on, like, I got shit to do, da-da-da. Right. So when it comes to, like, talking to somebody, especially somebody who I want to get to know, I'm like, hey, what's up, man? I'm Mike. I'm the in-house guy. Do you want some photos? And then there are 10 out of 10 times they say yes. Mm-hmm. And then I just get their phone number or whatever. But then outside of meeting people not physically, I don't do it at all. Maybe just on Instagram, like other photographers will chit chat back and forth, but that's about it. Yeah. You don't really have a strategy when it comes to like getting to know the tour managers and stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that I get starstruck or anything like that. It's not that. It's just more of like I feel like I'm somehow bothering them or like burdening them. Like it's more like you probably have people constantly just whatever, and I'm just like
You don't want to be that another guy.
You know, so I think that's kind of maybe my.
I think we all get that way because I've been in situations too where you're saying that you're like, there's their manager, there's somebody that you could at least shake a hand or get your name in their mouth, and you're like, I just don't want to like annoy them or overstep my bounds. So
a little
I don't know.
Liquid courage.
Yeah. It's a fine line. I mean, there was an opportunity when I was in Texas over the weekend. So there was a singer of a band, a singer of Bleeding Through, and it was a band that I like grew up on. And he was backstage with us just chilling. And I had my camera because I was photographing my client. And part of my brain was like, you should go intro, shake his hand, maybe even like grab a photo for yourself. Like, hey, can I take your photo? But then I'm like, the dude's backstage. Like, we're just chilling. Like, don't be the weirdo that's like, oh, I'm a fan. Can I take your photo? But then the business side of me was like, you missed out on an opportunity because maybe he could have been cool to be like, yeah, cool, take my photo. And then boom, now you got, because then maybe he goes, oh shit, you do photos? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I need to, I think I didn't. Okay. But I look back and I regret it. Like, because what's the worst I could say? Hey man, nice to meet you. Oh, like I'm chilling, or no. Or he just says yes, stands there, and maybe you get like an awkward photo because they're just like really like, who is this person? Because it's all about energy, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I think we're in our heads too much.
Yeah, I feel that way even when I'm just asking for photos of people. I'm like, fuck, God damn it. I don't want to annoy them.
See, I don't know why it doesn't bother me if it's like out there, but if they're in the booth, I don't know why my mentality changes. Like, because again, a lot of times too, like I don't know who I'm talking to. You could be talking to the son of the vice president of the company or something, or the daughter of some executives, whatever, you know, and I don't know. It just there's just like a lot of things that could go wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something I've noticed. But one thing I actually wanted to ask you, going back to your gig in Texas, like you shot for this band, like they obviously knew your work already. Is that why so you worked with them before, like in town?
Yeah, so a number of reasons. So one, I shot the guitarist. I shot his wedding here. So that was one thing, was I shot his wedding. So obviously I was good with him, his wife, and then some of the bandmates at that time. I had met them, but they were just like, whatever, he's a photographer. Like I wasn't really on their radar. And then they were practicing. So months go by and they were practicing in the studio, and Zach had hit me up. I was like, hey, we're going to be practicing. Would you mind coming through? Were you available? I said, absolutely. I've been wanting to photograph more music in your band, so I would love to. So I came through, did photos of them in the studio. They loved them. And then, just been like not trying to overstep my bounds, but still keeping my like name of like, hey, when you guys are playing that show, when you guys are going on tour type of thing, like I still want to get more into music. So like, you know what I mean? And then when this came about, they had already known me. It was cool. Like the relationship I have already kind of started to build. So for the weekend, they were already there. And then there was even one photo in particular where the singer saw me, because like the photo pit there was a shit ton of people. He looks at me and then points at me at the camera and then holds it there. And then I get that shot. And I'm thinking I wouldn't have gotten that shot if I was just a normal photographer, or he didn't already have that relationship. Because like I said, he pointed to just me. He didn't like point to other people. So relationships.
Well, because you had that rapport built already, and then you verbalized what you wanted to do, and you spoke it out, and it's like the universe, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like just saying shit out loud always helps, but then with like a specific person, especially if they're like big, I should be like, hey, I love your shit, man, or just something funny like that. And then if like another opportunity arises like a little bit later in the night or something, and they're around, then I'll kind of like try to poke the bear again. But then I just kind of let it go though too. But
it is tough because like in particular, because like a lot of, in my experience, the energy I get from people like tour manager or sound guy, like whoever's with them, they come off very, very like closed off.
But then it's funny too, because I feel like it's the energy you bring to them.
Right.
If they feel closed off, and then you're like kind of like, oh hey, well, then they're like, oh, what the fuck does this kid want?
Fuck is
and
this
then
guy?
You're like, yo, I'm shooting in house. Like, I got some photos. You want them? And they're like, oh yeah, absolutely, thanks, man. And I'm like, hey, I'm also Mike, by the way. Shake their hand, kind of give them it, and then I dip. And then I see him again.
You fade into the night.
Yeah, and then I see him again. And then and then you see him again. And then it's like, oh, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know fucking anybody's, like, Cascade's manager. I don't know his name. But, like, we always say what's up.
Yeah.
We know each
Yeah.
other. I have his number on my phone somewhere. He'll text me randomly, ask for photos, but I don't remember his name off the top of my head. Super cool guy. But that's just how, like, it goes, you know? I don't know. And then to the persistence, and not necessarily, like, being persistent with them, but... Like if they have a residency or at a venue or something, like you see them all the time. So it's just them visually seeing you constantly. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's weird. Like it is about that. You should probably talk into the mic, huh? Because it is about that. It is about that energy. I think we talked about it before about like energy, and it is true. Because like when they don't know you, it's very like, who the fuck is this guy? It's like, well, I'm in the house or whatever. But then by that time you build that rapport, they're like completely different person. Like, yeah, get in there and do your thing. And yeah, like they have no problem. Like, I know, don't you like you tend to like get in the DJ's face? Like in a good way, like you will get, I got to get this shot. So I'm going to get in your face and get, you know what I mean? Get that shot.
Certain people, yeah. Like certain people I just won't even like try to do this stuff with. But yeah, ideally, like those are always the best fucking photos. Those are always the best images are the ones when they're interacting with you. When they're like, you know, they're either pointing at you, like you're saying, those photos like they're always come out dope, but they're like looking right at you. Or even and then when you're there like by their request, now they paid for you to be there. It's such a I feel like it opens up like you take more risks. Like you want to you want to impress the client. But you also want to deliver like amazing images. You know, so.
I was gonna say it's like the same thing I told you when you started. Like I told you, always say what's up to everybody. Like when you walk in, hey, what's up, dude? Hey, what's up, man? You say to the security guard, and then you have that one person that seems standoffish and cold, and then you just keep saying, "What's up, man? How are you? Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, dude? Hey, dude, have a good night. See you next week."
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, you break them. You fucking break them.
Kill them with kindness. Yeah, that was your mantra, bro.
So then you do the same thing with the artist, the same thing with the artist manager, whatever. Just always say hi, always say bye. Hey, man, good seeing you. Have a great week. And they can just have a smug look on their face, but eventually you're going to break them.
Absolutely.
There used to be this artist relations manager from a long time ago who was like that. And I just kept saying it, kept saying it, kept saying it. And then eventually he would like give me a little bit like, hey, what's up? What's up, Mike? And you just keep doing it. Just keep poking the bear.
Yeah.
Like, oh, fuck that kid. He said, have a good week. He said, hey, what's up, dude? How have you been? Like, yeah, he's a dickhead. No, like, they can't say anything bad.
Yeah, you've been too nice at that
Especially
point.
when you're professional, too, in the workplace, and you put out good work. It's like, you know, you gotta make yourself undeniable.
Ooh.
That's it.
You had mentioned, so you started flying drone in after 2020 lockdown.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure I used that 1200 and bought the goggles and the radio with it.
What were you? How did you handle that? Because I was still working construction during like lockdown. How did you handle that as freelance? Like what was going through that time period?
I mean, yeah. So at that time, I was my only source of income was the nightlife. So I was basically just surviving off the unemployment, pretty much. My cost of living is fairly low at the moment. Mm-hmm. So I didn't, and I had money saved up, so I wasn't necessarily worried. But the unemployment was really the only thing kind of keeping me afloat. I think I was getting some random things here and there, not during peak COVID, but maybe like beginning of 2021 or maybe at the end of 2020. But that was how I was surviving mostly, was just doing that. And the spare time was spent flying. I was trying to learn how to, because I didn't really have a mentor with this stuff. It was just people online, like the YouTube University, stuff like that. So I didn't really have, like, unlike photography where I had Mike and I had, Joe and Tony and all these people I could, they could help guide me. I didn't have that with the FPV stuff. So that's kind of how I kind of survived it pretty much.
Yeah, and then we started also shooting the local DJs together.
That's right. I remember that
so
series.
fun,
Yeah, talk about that. How did that, was that your idea? Or was that DJ's?
It was kind of our idea. We all went and try to do street photography. We didn't do anything.
We didn't end up taking any photos. Yeah, when we first met.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I think we drank downtown and walked around.
Yeah.
Just chit chatted. But Sean had a good idea to shoot local businesses for free to help keep them afloat. Mm-hmm. And with promotion, right?
Yeah.
During the pandemic.
I was just trying to promote, because we weren't sure. So it was supposed to be 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And so my idea was, just to shoot local business. And I also was doing it for myself for downtime because I'm like, well, if nothing's going on, at least I want to shoot and perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then nothing ever happened with that. And then I saw you guys do the DJ series, which was perfect.
So Sean had that idea. And then I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So then I was like, oh, maybe if I did that with our friends who are local DJs, like all the openers, like all the local headliners, that are the homies that like always treat us really well, and we give them photos when we shoot them. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, why don't we because I like doing editorial work. I want to do more editorial work. So I was like, why don't we set up these editorial shoots with them just to practice and goof and stay busy and have the content to post on Instagram for both of us, the subject and Sam and I. And then we started doing that. How many did we end up doing?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Maybe 10?
I'd say at least 10, yeah.
That's still a good amount.
And we get to know them a little bit better. It was just a fun we got out of the house a little bit more. It was, just And then anytime I get to work with you, I always learn something. Like every single time I learn something.
Thanks,
so
man.
That was awesome experience for me. Probably Sev was one of my favorite ones that we did.
Sev,
with him.
Sev, Nova, Dash.
Nova was
Dash
a good
was
one
the first one. That one was super fun. All of them were my favorite, but
you can pick one, dude. You don't gotta lie.
Yeah. Well, I think photo wise, they're all Sev, Dash, Four Eyes, and Nova. Those sets of images are all my favorite sets. They're so sick. And then it's all just for fun. So I'm like, oh, let's get weird. I do something different.
Yeah. Even with when Yo-Yo Lee, we did hers. We did those long kind of dragging the shutter. Yeah. Kind of ghosty looking ones. And I've always wanted to do that. And then oh, sweet, I got that done. Yeah. That was a really fun one.
And it was fun too.
They were all really fun, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Because we got to know them better. Because we only know them in the club.
Exactly.
So we got to become friends with them.
So it's not like you're talking to them really.
You're I see, and then we were all just hang and drink.
Yeah, exactly.
We got plastered with all of them. But
and then we got drunk after.
No, it was during.
You got drunk during. There
it was because why not?
I do my best work while drunk.
I really do enjoy a beverage or 3 at the club because I gotta say, not only is my output better, but my ratio is. I feel like I'm an enhanced human being.
Right,
after
take the edge off
2
there.
shots. Oh, dude.
What's your poison of choice?
So this is okay. So if I'm in the venue, I can do shots of either tequila or vodka, right? But if I preferably though, I prefer the vodka because tequila makes me. I could get a little aggressive on the tequila.
Okay.
So I tend to maybe stay away from that and just go the vodka route because I'm a more calm human being.
Calm on the vodka.
Yeah. But I definitely take more chances with tequila.
But not necessarily bad chances, more just photography risks.
I think you're outside your head because I notice that a lot whenever I'm shooting with Kellen, who does video. Mm-hmm. He's the same way. If a bartender makes us a drink, he's like, yeah, let's take a drink. And at first I was always like, oh, I don't know. I don't want to be drinking. And then after, shooting with him so much, it's like the bartender made you a drink that you did photos of. You can have a drink. You'll be fine. You know what I mean? And then those few times where I did have a drink, it did kind of loosen me up and I was a little bit outside of my head. I was more fun. I didn't necessarily worry too much about, that group or this and that. So
totally. It does help. And then it's just it's just
finding that line because then sometimes I'm like, well, I don't want to be too loose in case you got to be at booth, whatever, in 10 minutes. And I'm like, whoa, I'm a little drunk. So it's I get still too paranoid, but it is to take the edge off of I'm relaxed. Let's do this damn thing.
Yeah.
This is the thing about the nightclub, everybody, I would say 90% are drinking.
Right.
Including the client.
The talent. Typically. Everybody's blasted. It's a good time. I don't see any harm in getting on that same level. If you're at a wedding or something like that, you don't want to be the one guy that's splashing at the wedding. I get that.
Where's the photographer?
I think the wedding is the best place.
Honestly,
because it feels so uptight sometimes at the wedding. So it's like real nice.
Too. Well, one thing that I do love of speaking of drinking while working is if I have a couple and they get married downtown and do the elopement, I absolutely love when we hit a bar in between the chapel and then going downtown or somewhere else, because
Makes for great images.
One, it breaks the ice of like that little like buffer of like a little thing, and then two, it's like, I don't know, it just goes a long way to like sit down and have a drink with somebody, because like we put the photos in the back of our head and we have a little drink, we get to know each other, and then it's like, oh yeah, let's continue to do photos. So now everyone's like loose and we're like cool, because now we feel like we've known each other even though we've only spent 2 hours together.
Yeah, 100%. It's like having like a little mini date. You know, it's like
it's a little
it's a date, and then now you go and do the thing. You
it's
know?
a little
awesome.
What was it like? This is a little speed date kind of thing, right? Like have a drink. Oh, and then all right, let's get back to photos. This is what you're paying me. Like cool.
Do you have a favorite artist that you shoot with?
Yeah. Who's your favorite to work with, photograph?
In the nightclubs, like the venues that we shoot now, I think probably John is my favorite. Lil John is probably my favorite.
I can see that.
He's all around a good time.
I can see that.
Just a solid guy. Like he trusts us. And like how we talk. We've been talking about these relationships with people. It goes such a long way. Like that camaraderie is already there. He knows that I know what I'm doing.
Right.
So he engages with me way more. The photos always come out way better. And not only that, he's just fun, and his voice is like the soundtrack for my teenage years.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's just it's such a crazy thing for him to like call me out on the mic or whatever, and I'm standing right. It's just like what is this? Like what is happening right now? It's just so insane. But I mean, like he's definitely one of my favorites. I can't really think of like who else really. Millennium. Every time I leave like an Millennium show, I always like leave feeling better about myself. Like his music's very uplifting, very positive sounding. So I always really enjoy those. Like his sets.
Really, everybody says that. I haven't listened to his music directly, but when I listen to his sets, it's just so headbanging. I'm like, everyone's like, it's so nice. I'm just like,
he's the one that always wears the same hat and jersey, right? Every time.
Yeah.
He's got the baseball jerseys.
He's got the white jerseys, which are rare, and then he normally wears the black jersey. But sometimes he'll he'll do the white one. But his sets are fun. Nightmare is a fun one to shoot just because of how animated he is. He's so high energy. Mm-hmm. And I would say Aoki, but I think I maybe get a little fatigued because we shoot his sets a lot.
Right.
So but he's an incredible showman.
Yeah,
he's an entertainer through and through.
Dude.
But then Aoki too is so popular that the venues are always at full capacity when he's there. So then I think that's where the fatigue comes from, because we just,
it could be over. It could get because he's so prolific. Like he'll do 2 nightclubs and a day club in 1 week.
Yeah,
it's like whoa, dude. So obviously we have that's one thing too, is that I think we maybe not necessarily take for granted, but it's something that we get to shoot multiple venues. Because we do the freelance. We can bounce around. We're not like fatigued by one venue.
Yeah, just the one venue.
I couldn't imagine. Like if we had to just pick one venue, if you were just at Omni and I was I don't think I would feel the same way I do. Honestly, I think one of the reasons why I feel like we could do this for 5-6 nights a week is because of the variety. Mm-hmm. Very fortunate, very grateful that I don't think really any other city has that opportunity, has that option, because most cities just have the one club, or they're two.
Or you're
clubs.
You're just shooting like a Nova in LA type of thing. You're just for that client. It's not like you're shooting Roxy, then Troubadour, and I don't even know if these venues exist anymore, but whatever. It's the only ones I know in California. It's the only ones that come to mind.
Yeah. So each episode we like to do a couple recommendations. So for the first one, we'll start out with you, Sam. Sam, you picked which category?
I picked the gear recommendation.
Oh, what do you got for us?
So it's not necessarily a piece of gear as much as it is advice for gear in general.
Oh.
Because I am in a unique position because I've recently upgraded my main camera body from the base model to the top of the line model. So I went from an A7 IV, which was the entry level full frame
Sony camera.
Was it entry level? I thought the A7 IV was. Is that new?
It's so the A7 III, right, was the one that changed the whole mirrorless game. When
Right.
it came out in 2017 or 2018. I can't remember now. 2017, I think. Anyway, 2018 it came out. But so they released the upgraded one, the A7 IV, in the end of 2021.
Okay.
So I bought that camera expecting great things. It had the flippy out screen. It had the high resolution sensor, 33 megapixels. So many more benefits, right? Okay, this is going to be great ergonomically. Everything was better, but it only does 6 frames a second,
Oh.
uncompressed RAW. So if you shoot compressed RAW, which is why we even shoot it RAW if it's going to be compressed, is my opinion, but it turns into a 6 frame per second camera, which for anything professional, I don't feel like is enough. It's just too slow.
Yeah,
And
maybe
nowadays-
10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. My 5D Mark III did 6 frames a second.
Yeah,
like, this
exactly.
isn't so sitting there like click, 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 click. I'm like, okay, this is completely unusable. And then you turned me on to some guy who was basically trying to sell his A1, his Sony A1, which is the flagship mirrorless system from Sony. Again, $6,000 was a lot of money to spend at one time, but I don't know why. He was just like, you know what, if I'm going to do this, this is the time to do it. So I decided
Because
to.
my plan worked.
And
It's because Joe did that to me, so I did it to you.
yeah.
And then
Yeah, and you didn't let it go because I was gonna let it go. I was like, it's too much. And then you're like, hey man, so what's up with the A1? It just kept planting the seed. And I was like, you know what? I'm making money. So basically, to sum up the gear recommendation, just real quick, it is to go with, if you're professional and you use this tool to make money, you need to go with the highest possible spec that you can afford at this moment.
Right.
If you can afford it, if it's within possibility, absolutely get it, because it's going to motivate you to not only get more work, you're going to do better work because the tool's going to enable you to create better work. It's going to, not only that, but it will make you more, as weird as this might look or sound, you will look more professional.
Right.
When you walk in with an A1, when people say, oh, what do you use an A1? People's perspective changes. It's hilarious. Like, I could have said whatever, but if I say that I'm using A1, they go, oh, they just suddenly take you more seriously. And sometimes, dude, image is a lot. When you walk into a shoot for the first time and they're judging you based on your look and your gear and whatever.
I did that on,
when you walk in with an A1, it's like, okay, you're serious about this, Vice versa, if I walk in with an A7 III and that thing's 5 years, 6 years old, and it's beat to shit, and it's in bad condition, or all my lenses are third-party lenses. Again, that's not saying that third-party lenses aren't great. They are great. There's just something that you're just taking more seriously.
Okay, we'll touch on that too then. You were using a lot of, I think I did the same thing. I used a lot of third-party lenses, and then I switched everything to Canon eventually.
Yeah.
You just recently...
And that's another thing too, is that I would use all third-party lenses, and now that I upgraded this camera, okay, you know what? I can't use a third-party low-level lens on this ultra, powerful camera. So I ended up getting the new 16-35, or not the new one, but the G Master lens, which is 3 times the amount that I was of the lens I was using previously, the Tamron lens, that had basically the same range, basically the same aperture. It should have been comparable, but why am I spending 3 times? There's a reason why.
Yeah.
It costs 3 times as much, because it works 3 times as better. It focuses 3 times as better. It's just in every possible way, build quality, and then once you get it in the hand, and once you there is a difference. I mean, maybe it's negligible if you're looking at like a 35 millimeter from the Sigma or from the Sony. But there is a difference. There's always going to be a difference when you're using a native lens on a native body. It's just the way it is. And it took me all this time to kind of get to that point.
I did the same.
Yeah.
Same amount of time. Yeah, I was probably a little longer. I think I was probably 8 years, 7 years or 8 years into my career. And then I was using all like second-hand camera equipment. I would buy it because it was cheaper. And then I upgraded everything, and then it's 9-day difference.
I mean, getting the A1 over the A7 IV was like, I mean, it was like going from like a Civic to like a Ferrari. Like it was so dramatically, different. The ease of use, the just the power that it had, the extra resolution. It can crop in way more. 20 frames a second, uncompressed raw, and it's completely electronic shutter. Like there's all these benefits. And it has greatly improved not only my life but like my confidence. Like I know that like I'm gonna get this shot. Like, before 6 frames a second, you're gonna miss that shot. I think you're not gonna get that shot, bro.
Right.
Like with 6, I'm sorry, 10 minimum. But with this camera, I just don't even worry now. There's just not even like a consideration. It's just I'm gonna get it. Like and even with the I got the new 70-200, and that lens is. I cannot believe how not only fast, how sharp it is. The sharpness, dude. At 200 millimeters, it's just like it's changed my. And that's another thing that changed my life is getting the 70-200. So I would borrow Mike's Canon.
Oh, really?
And adapt it to my Sony. Because I'm like I'm not gonna spend $3,000, $2,000, whatever And as soon as I did, I'm like, oh my god.
His first words out of his mouth was he said, "Thank you, Mike and Joe, for letting me borrow this lens because I will not let anybody borrow this lens." But I was going to say, Sean kind of had the same experience over the weekend.
Oh, okay. Dude, I shot with so I was on a shoot, and so I was shooting with my D850 Nikon, and we were shooting stock. Sports stock imagery for WinBet. And so we had like baseball, soccer. So some of the shots we were trying to catch the movement of like kicking the ball, swinging the bat. And so my Nikon just technically wasn't cutting it. We looked it up, like, dude, the reviews or the specs, it's at like 9 frames a second, which I didn't know was that low until Mike from Made Good shooting with the Canon R3, and that thing's blasting 30 frames a second. And I'm like, oh, dude, like I said, I'm missing a lot of these shots. And then he's next to me and it's just, and I'm like, cool. So I used it the rest of the next 2 days and I fell in love. Mm-hmm. But for me to switch from Nikon to Canon, so I'd have to buy the R3 if I could ever get a hold of it, and then buy new lenses. So I'd obviously buy the same lenses for Canon that I have for Nikon. So it's going to cost me like $15,000 to fully switch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what my original Adorama order in 2019 was $11,000 to switch over, and then I sold my Nikon gear. But my mom also died, so me and my brother split $25,000 for life insurance money. So I used that money to reinvest into myself, but then I recouped some of it, like probably $8,000 of it for my Nikon stuff. But when I did it, it was so worth it. Like,
I know.
Best decision ever.
So worth it.
That's kind of where I'm at with, like, because everyone says, like, do what you can with what you have. But over the last handful of years, I've been in the same thing where you're saying, it's like, if I need something, I'm going to get it.
Well, here's the thing. That saying is for people who are starting out. Make do with what you have.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not starting out.
Right.
We're all full-time professional photographers. And now it's if you're a mechanic, are you going to be using a Husky fucking crescent wrench?
No, you're going to be using Snap-on.
You're going to be using Snap-on. You know why? Because the Snap-on lasts longer, you trust it, and it makes your job easier. And we need our job to be as easy as possible. So we can then focus on, instead of focusing on focus and being like, is this going to be in focus? You know it's going to be focused, and then you can focus on composition and timing.
Or
and
did I
just
get that? Better. Yeah, did I get that movement of that cryo shot or whatever? Maybe that's, like I said, the guy swinging the bat, and it's like every other frame. Yeah. So Canon, hit me up my email.
Yeah,
I'll sell out real quick. Canon, holler.
Yeah, I mean, you could even get an R6 for the time being.
That's what's tough because people are saying like R6 is plenty good, and but again, I'm at that same boat. If I'm gonna jump ship, sell Nikon, sell lenses, all this stuff, it's like I might as well get.
That's what we're just talking about.
What I'm going for.
Go R3.
The issue is the availability of the R3.
I thought I put my email into BNC's
to get the notifications.
Yeah, and I got it maybe a week ago, and I was like, so they are kind of available every now and then,
But they only get like 10. They don't get that much.
Yeah, but
I just ordered online immediately though. That's how I got the A7 IV, because even that wasn't available when I first ordered it. But as soon as it popped up, I logged on, bought it, and then it was ready for me. I just went and picked it up,
So for me, I pre-ordered on Adorama in November of 2021, and then I didn't hear shit, and then it was December 30th, and I went to B&C to buy something, and then I made a joke. I was like, "Oh, do you guys have any R3s?" And they're like, "Oh, we just fulfilled the first order with all of our wait lists." And they said we only have one person on the next wait list. And I was like, "Oh." And he's like, "I think we're gonna get like 2 or 3 in the next shipment." I was like, "Oh." He's like, "We should get it like next week." I was like, "Oh." So I canceled my Adorama order. And then the cool thing too is that they charge you right there and then when you pre-order it for the full thing.
Oh, really?
So I got to put it on my taxes last year. Because Adorama, they just charge you when it ships.
Yeah, because I thought, so when Mike from Made Good got his, he was telling me, he was like, I put down the 600 and then they'll email me when it's available. I don't remember who he got
Was it from
through.
B&C or B&H?
I doubt it was B&C.
Okay, so that's why.
But
I got mine from B&C.
He was telling me, like, I put the 600 down because we were talking about it.
Yeah.
Before he got it, he was like, "Oh, I got the notification. They're available." He's like, "But I haven't pulled the trigger yet." And so basically all I have is a deposit down. And I was like, "Oh, that's smart too." Because, yeah, maybe you put the 600 down. You're like, "Oh, I'm still kind of on the fence," or "I don't have the funds just yet."
Yeah, and then they called me like 2 weeks later. I was like, I literally laid down to take a nap before my next gig. And I like had a missed call. I was like, "Oh," it said B&C. And I was like, "Fuck." I was like, "I'm not taking a nap." So I like ran over there and went and got it.
Yeah, they charge you the full price when you do the pre-order.
Oh, yeah, they're collecting right away.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it worked out good because I wanted it on the other year's taxes. So I could have a $7,000 write-off. But and then our other recommendations.
What's your chill rec?
My chill rec? Oh, gosh. I can't even remember now off the top of my head. Cleaning the house.
Oh, that's right.
That's what it was. Let me get a little stoned on some music, clean the house. You're not only cleaning your house physically, I feel like I'm cleaning my mind mentally. It's like a nice little meditation. Yeah, I'm into it. It's nice. And then also, too, having a clean desk, I think, is very conducive to working.
Right.
When I have shit all over it, I'm like, I don't want to do anything right now. You know? So that'd be it's maybe not chill, but it helps me chill in the long run.
No,
I think
anything could
The
be
end
chill.
result is very relaxing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine trying to sit down and edit and my desk is full of crap or like papers everywhere or whatever. Your room's a mess. Good environment gives you good mental.
You have
everything.
I've seen your bedroom, I think, once, and it is fucking immaculate.
Yeah. Because it's like that's like the one place I can control. I can control what's going on in my room.
Right.
So I keep it as pristine as possible. Like everything is in its place. It's just it's one less thing to worry about, and I can just I can't imagine having to like trying to do like a very creative endeavor surrounded by garbage or like trash or not necessarily but just like clothes and shit everywhere. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I do say coming home to a made bed is very nice.
Oh, yeah.
Even though it doesn't matter because you're getting into it, but
I started that habit a few years ago at this point is as soon as I get out of bed, making the bed. I mean, it's not perfect. Like I'm not tucking it in. Like it's not a hotel room, but at least like pulling the sheet back and the blanket back and the pillows. It's like one of those things where now like it's just so it's habit to me to have like just the bed decent.
Nice.
And like even over the weekend I was in Texas because I had a roommate. He left. He had to get up at like 6 to go sound check. So his bed was a mess. It's a hotel room. And then me, I'm like making mine, making it. I was like, whatever. I'm the psycho, but it's just like it's just instilled. And it's not like they've done studies where it's like if you make your bed in the morning, it just like sets you up for like 100%. A good clean,
Absolutely.
day or whatever.
Absolutely.
What about your recommendation?
I got food. I got food today, so I'm gonna go with Kasi Beach House at Virgin.
Nice.
We eat there like once a month, and we just had brunch there the other day on Monday, and it's good. It has not disappointed yet. And we've been there like 7 times, so
Okay.
don't go a changing on us.
Right on. Yeah, and then do you guys have? We always like each episode. Anything fun coming up, Sam? Any like cool gigs that you're looking forward to? Any like what's your upcoming work week? Any personal stuff? You going out of town? You got any some fly honeys for dates?
Well, no, none of that. But I just have I do have a like again the stuff I'm doing. The fun stuff I'm doing now is mostly like the drone thing. So like I did I just did a mansion. I did a mansion fly
sick.
through
Oh,
with
nice.
Gina Joy.
Gina
sick.
Joy. Oh,
The amazing
Come on, Gina.
Joy.
We've been asking you to come on. You know,
Gina, amazing.
her name
Gina.
keeps coming up.
Yeah.
So she got me this, and that was super fun. I want to do more of that. And then I'm supposed to, I don't know if I could say where, but I'm supposed to do an indoor drone shoot
Somewhere.
during a performance.
oh nice.
Nice.
So I'm a little like, I need to figure out legally how I'm supposed to make sure that like I'm good to go for that, because I think it's still a little bit different from outdoors.
Logistics.
Yeah, I'm sure there's different. Yeah.
You know, so that's super exciting. I mean, imagine like having like a drone flying around during like a rap performance, you know, some kind of like live performance. So that's kind of on the horizon. That's something I'm
Nice,
really
man.
looking forward to. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
So, but you know, clubs, just mostly club stuff.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
Next week, I just looked at my calendar before this too, and
This happens every time.
I think I got Cody Garbrandt, UFC fighter. He's in fight camp,
Nice.
so I think we got a little something Monday. I think I have a wedding next week, and
Very cool.
I got a catering shoot at Area 15 over the weekend.
Nice.
Is what I can remember on the top of my brain.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I got to edit videos for Red Bull still. So
If I could just say, I'd like to interrupt by saying I really enjoy your fight photos.
Well, thank you.
I like the style that you do. You're very your fight. You know, you're doing like boxing matches, bright lights, super whatever. But I like the dark kind of training room.
yeah,
Vibe
it's not by
too.
choice because every
it's
It's the area, right?
every gym
yeah.
has like the worst lighting. Every gym has trash lighting. Like, yeah, but I make it work. But dude, every time I'm like, oh, these are like it's ugly in here, dude.
Yeah, the noise is not by choice. Just because ISO is
it?
Yeah.
10,000.
Oh, that wasn't a style choice.
I disguise it because it's my style. But like, ideally, I want a clean, bright, lit gym.
I figured you went for like that gritty,
No,
gritty kind of.
not by choice. But thank you.
You gotta own it.
There you go. What do you mean?
What's your week looking horizon?
I have a really big shoot on Monday. We'll talk about it next week because I don't want to jinx it.
Ooh,
Yeah.
spoiler
I'm really
alert.
nervous.
What else you got?
Oh.
That's it? One shoot all week? You're
No,
slowing down.
The other stuff, just a lot more like music, just club stuff. And then I have in July, I'm shooting for the UFC,
Nice.
for the Fan Expo. Just normal.
International Fight Week.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they do the Fan Expo at the convention center. So I'm doing that for them.
Nice.
And so I'm excited for the shoot on Monday, and then the one in July will be cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've been trying to do more sports. More sports. Yeah.
Go sports.
Go sports. Cool. Well, I think that might be it, guys.
Where can people
Where can
find
we
you, Sam?
man?
Oh, you could find me on my Instagram is Sammy Dean Photo.
Nice. We will put a
Yes,
link
yes, yes.
in the description.
That's pretty much it. You know,
pretty much it. Cool. What's
Just
your,
on the old gram?
Just DM me there if you.
What's
have
your
any
cell phone
questions or
number?
anything.
Yeah. What's your? Can they text you directly?
Your social security number as well.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, whoever's
Thanks for
listening.
having me, guys. This was fantastic.
Thanks for
man.
hopping on. This is good.
Dude, yeah, of course, man.
Some good shit,
And
dude.
whoever's listening, thank you very much, guys. We appreciate you.
Boom.
Thanks
Stay
for keeping
tuned.
the dream alive.
Yeah. And we'll see you on the next one.
Adios.
Hollow.